So what's going on, everybody? Greg Dawes, GD9 attorney, pro se consultant. And let me say this, I'm not an attorney. I do not have a license to practice law. I don't practice law. What I've done is study law and tell people what I've learned, which is but through my experiences. And I explain to them how I've gathered the information. So I don't give information as advice to apply to your specific case, but as general information regarding the law and lawful principles, which by the way belong to the people. So I tell everybody to use any information obtained from any of my platforms for educational edification only. And the reason that I say this is because I want nothing that I say to be construed to be legal advice. If you feel you need legal advice, I would highly encourage you to hire a licensed and hopefully competent attorney and be legally advised. In addition to that, let me go ahead and take care of some of these preliminaries. But with that being said, if you all wish to continue to watch the episodes, you're more than welcome. If you wish to step away, so be it. But I think that there was, for those who are members on YouTube, to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see this. And then eventually, I guess I'll make it available to the public. For those who got unique individual invites, I brought you on. Many of you all know me through interactions and what have you. But for some reason, somebody thought that, I don't know if they thought that maybe something I posted wasn't real, or that I had no experience with my own cases for child support. So what I'm going to do is kind of just show everybody what I've done for the case that this gentleman was talking about. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to be belligerent or anything else. And what's going on, Samucha Mitch? What's going on, yo? I don't know about ADA protections in state welfare state matters dealing with state agencies, but what I am going to say is sometimes people can get further by just coming to the source. And if you really want to know anything about me, I'm pretty transparent. And anybody who knows can just say, hey, yeah, I've reached out to Greg, and Greg answers his phone. The numbers that are on my website is me. And so I wanted to get this done because I also want to make sure that I get to this Ohio State Indiana game tonight. I don't know what's going on with Georgia and Alabama right now because I was taking care of some other stuff, and we'll take care of that later on. But nevertheless, let me get to some of this stuff. Thanks for joining, A-Dub, Macadamia. You want to say anything real quick before I get going? You got to unmute yourself.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, I hate the world. Other than that, I'm all right.
I'm on that same level, man. I'm on that same level.
Hey, it was good to see you. We'll try to help the people out. So apparently, the case in question is the matter involving myself and one of the emancipated children, the mother, Ms. Ball. You can go to the case on my YouTube channel. So let me play around with this a little bit to get everybody what they need to see. And another thing I'm going to do for everybody's edification is I'm going to pull up all the information that we're going to discuss, which again is available online. It's actually all public record. So I don't even understand where the misinformation was. Apparently, they thought that the matter involving myself and Ms. Ball was about support when it's actually only about Medicaid. And it's actually in the transcript. And if for those who saw the how to deal with a corrupt child support hearing officer, I think it was pretty clear that we were only talking about $849, I think, and 39 cents or something like that, for anybody who's seen it. So then we went to court. The issue was for the judge is, well, wait a minute, Your Honor, not only is all that the attorney was whining about wasn't the issue, something else came to my attention, which was back in 2003 or 4, whenever they tried to start the case, neither myself nor the mother was there. And unlike a lot of you guys who have cases here, all of my cases were judicial. None of my cases were administrative. Now, I know things have changed across the nation over the last 20 some odd years, but I see somebody who's in the screen nodding their head. but my case is judicial, and you've also heard me say that in the abundance of clarity. So I think it would be good to address these matters. And by the way, anybody who has a question, if you happen to be one of the special guests who are invited in through the Zoom, all you have to do is to, I think, hit the action button or something like that, and it'll bring you in, and I'll be able to let you speak. I don't think we're going to be here that long, but we'll take a shot at it either way, and we'll make the best of it. So let me get in here and start playing with this thing right here so I can get out of here, and hopefully we can get some stuff accomplished, and hopefully everybody can see me online. So that being said, let me minimize some of this other stuff. You have any questions, Macadamia, before we get started?
No. You lead the way. I don't know necessarily what you're trying to accomplish.
Somebody I guess claimed that I have problems of my own with child support, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I actually reached out to him and said, well, why don't we just do what I'm doing right now, and we can discuss any questions you have about my credibility, because that's what the whole issue was about. You take a shot at me, my credibility, and I reached out to you to say, well, let's talk about it, and then you went some other direction. So I don't know. I just want to get out ahead of whatever might be going on. But for anybody who wants to know, when you see any footage of me in a courtroom, it's legitimate. Yes, there may be a background, but the voices, I can match up with the transcripts from the proceedings. That's why I tell you all always to bring a court reporter to court with you, so you can have a transcript of what's going on. So I guess you all only see me online, but let me pull up the first document. Somebody else just came in. Oh, there you go. Appreciate that, B-Dub. Yeah, and anybody who wants anything, by the way, just ask. So let me
Well,
go
I think it's important for you to point that out, that it's pretty deceptive that, it's a child support case, and people will imply or think or assume that it's because you have arrearages or something like that, and you weren't being a personally accountable man and taking care of your business. But that wasn't, like you pointed out, that's not at all what was going on, but that's how you can assume what was going on.
I don't know what it is with people. My thing is real simple. I don't get into whether or not a person's how they feel about paying support or what have you. That's not for me to do. My only issue with every matter that I've addressed is, what is the law as it relates to whatever the issue is with me? Did you follow the law? I don't want to talk about where we are on point Z. I'm going back to A. Was everything proper from A to Z? If not, then whatever relief I'm entitled to, give me the entitled relief. And I would tell anybody else, because I can't give you advice. I don't give advice. I would say, let's go back and find out what the original order was. Was the process proper? And then, you may have to get where I've gotten, where I've had to go through appeals. And the facts are the facts. More of my issues are less about the facts in my case than they are about what else I may know as it relates to all the matters that I've addressed. And I do have my resident genius that just popped on, the man, the myth, and the legend. Dele, are you there somewhere? I think he should be there. I just saw him.
I wanted to ask you a question. I'm gonna pull a Greg Doss. What legal and lawful concept are you saying that you're attacking these orders on?
Mine are procedural.
Which is?
You say due process?
There you go. I'll pull the Greg Doss.
No, it's just, well, if it's administrative, the strictures of due process are not as regimented as they are when it comes to a judicial process through the administrative process. And of course, it all varies by state as to what your pathways to relief may or may not be. So I don't know why you're not coming in. Let me try to see what we got here. There we go. What's going on, Dele? Welcome to the show.
Not much. How you doing?
Well, actually, I'm kind of aggravated because for some reason, somebody questioned me on another platform. So I thought, just being the person that I am, actually, I tried to minimize whatever the confrontation could be. And they were talking about me having an open case. So when they were talking about the open case, I was like, well, we can just talk about it. And he was talking about the Clee Ball case, in fact. And I don't like to say her name because I have no issues with her whatsoever. In fact, she did me a solid. She actually just did the affidavit and released everything that was in the back and forward. So that part was done. As everybody who watched the video can see, the only issue we discussed or had for discussion was the $849, I believe, in 30 whatever cents it is. I'm going to show everybody that. And whoever the gentleman is, if he ever sees this video, we can either straighten it out or not. But I would like to think that if everybody who knows me would know that the cases that I show you all on the YouTube channel are actually from actual hearings and proceedings. So I guess they're questioning that as well. And everybody who knows, who's ever dealt with me, knows that this face is actually that of Chagret Doss, who you all know is Greg Doss. So I don't have a what do you call those kind of channels, like faceless YouTube channels? My channel's not faceless.
That indeed does not.
So, and you're really familiar with my cases, right, Dele?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, that being said, let me go ahead and just show everybody some stuff, and we can go ahead and get to rocking.
I went mute because I'm driving though. So
okay, no doubt. Appreciate it. And we have our resident Hurricane who doesn't have a football game to watch. You can hit the unmute button if you want to also, Mr. Hurricane Mike. I think you gotta hit some kind of action button once I ask him to unmute. Pull this stuff up. Maybe he's busy too.
Yeah, I'm out right now. I ain't gonna talk much, but I'm out.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you stepping by and to add some support to this foolishness, but I have to address it. And you told me I should address it, so I'm going to. But I'm not gonna slam his name or what have you. But we can anything anybody wants to know about me, we can figure it out and go with it from there. So here we are, and let me do this right here from my Dropbox, which is available for everybody. So we're in the Dropbox. Macadamia, can you see the screen, the Dropbox screen? Okay, thanks. So the case in question is this case here. And as anybody can see, I guess you can't make it larger. Try it this way. I'm gonna go as that's my given name right there. And the case that they're talking about, which was reopened, and I'll show you where it was reopened. You go to the very bottom, you'll see that right there. That's pretty clear. Does everybody see where it says termination of child support services by the DOR? Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty clear, right? And right here, you're going to see something too called an affidavit of fact. But you know what? Let me try to do this real quick and make it a little bit simpler. And I'll come back and show me. And I'll just go into the hover and see if my information comes up. And hopefully YouTube doesn't play any games because I pop open something and you can see it because this is public record. I would think YouTube would not have a problem with this. Hover on this thing. So I was going to show you how we pull up a case on the actual internet, and we'll just go with it from there. Let me do this. I want to take that one off. Maybe I have too many screens open, so let me start closing down some screens. But in the meanwhile, while I'm waiting for Hover to pop open, you see it. You'll see it in the background spinning. So right here, you see it spinning right here, but here you have the termination. So let's see what we got in here, the child support case information. These are audios from other hearings. This is not what I wanted to show you. Let me go back here. In the child support letters. Now, I had 4 of these, and I don't even know why I'm even going back through this. It kind of aggravates me to even be bothered with it. So for what I had 4 of these because I had multiple cases, but you'll see they suspended my license. We told them to reinstate it because we're no longer enforcing the support order. Does everybody see that? Okay, that's for one. And let me see. You come back. That's number two. You'll see a different case number, by the way. If you look at the last three, see that's 323. And come back. And number three. Case number 330. And number four. Case number 657. So we're convinced that, and by the way, Greg, that's my given name, by the way. I didn't make this stuff up. I'm just giving you a copy of what you can go find on your own. So it's not hidden, it's not some super secret or what have you. And my hover is taking this long to load up. Try this right here. Here we go. While we wait for this to get going, at any rate, I see some of our other guests have come in there. So we're in my proof folder. And so you go back to the child support stuff. Termination letters. Now, this individual seemed to be captivated. By the way, for those who don't know, Judge Ayers administratively closed the case, and most of you all are familiar with that, involved Charles Denton. So we didn't have another case. So she just closed the judge administratively, meaning she just did a judge's signature and said, okay, that's done. They weren't going to entertain the issue with Denton anymore. So I can show you that too, by the way. Macadamia, can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate you. I need somebody on that can tell me, because I don't know what you all see versus what I see.
I got you.
There you go. You see that administrative closing? Judge Ayers. So I don't know why he said July, the date he was using. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why this one here opened up bigger. Oh, I got hit it twice. There we go. There you go. That's the one that you all heard with Denton. Case will be closed, and that's it. So the clerk was instructed to administratively close the case. No issue. So here's the case that he was talking about. Can you see that too, right, Macadamia?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
What's that? Can you read at the top so everybody doesn't think I'm doing it? Can you read what's at the top of that document?
Florida Department of Revenue. Termination of child support services.
Can you see the date of the see what that says right there?
Yeah, file with the clerk. Circuit
I didn't
court.
do that. Yeah, the clerk did it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the date?
2015. Dang. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know where we're going. And by the way, thank you for joining us. I don't know if she's busy. Thank you, Miss Benell. If you want to speak, I think you hit the little button and I'll see your hand or something, and then we'll go with it from there. Thank you for joining us as well. And by the way, this is something else that kind of surprised me. See, that was here. We had a what do you call it? We had a hearing scheduled. They canceled the hearing because the judge closed the case. So anyway, that's not related to the case that this guy was talking about, though. So we got that. So we're having such a hard time with that. I think my phone just beeped. Hold on a second. Any questions, Macadamia?
Oh, there's plenty of things to break down. I know you said that your case was has always been judicial in nature, but you're getting administrative dismissals. So can you help people understand what it means to be administratively dismissed? Because I know that there are hearing officers and then there's judges. So maybe you can speak to that.
Oh, you mean like a judge can do anything a hearing officer can do, but a hearing officer can't do everything a judge can do?
Yeah. So these hearing officers are the ones that have been doing administrative dismissals, correct?
Not to my knowledge. He can only in Florida. I can only speak to Florida. An administrative we call them hearing officers, can only make recommendations. The judge can issue an order. As I think that was part of my discussion with Mr. Denton, wasn't it? You don't issue orders, you issue recommendations. You all can go back and watch that for those who don't know. This is the first time you've seen me, but we went to that pretty much in depth. So I'm gonna try this one more time with Hover. Otherwise, we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna pull the transcript from the proceeding. And they could be down for maintenance too. I don't think I saw it at the top of the screen though, because it typically just, this is our Hillsborough County Clerk's website. And for those who may live in states where it's harder for your website to work, I don't know what the problem is with Hover. Don't blame me that you don't live in Florida. Not my fault. Ours is pretty easy to go through, but let me pull up some other stuff. So I want to get in here and get out pretty quickly and get back to my football game, my games. Try this. You all can see what I'm doing here. If you all have a Explorer, you're familiar, you go into transcripts. Let me try this right here. So I wanted to pull it up.
One of these days, I want to see how you manage your evidence, because you have so much. Like, I looked at one of your cases, and you have an index, you indexed your, or you had an appendix of all your evidence. I need to understand how you manage all your evidence. That's something that I want to tap into you from or for.
You mean like how to put together an appendix, or you mean putting together like the evidence? Well, actually, I'm gonna pull it up here, but I'll do that for you, and I'll actually use this case to do it. That's cool.
Yeah.
So now, for those who don't know, and I don't know why, because this is actually in the court file. Why before somebody decided to call me out? Are you there? I don't know if Ms. Bonnell is going to unmute or not. She might be right. I like to hear a female's voice because it would kind of more coincide with the affidavit. But can you see the affidavit, Macadamia?
Yeah, I see it.
What was the date of the affidavit?
The reception to the court record, or the date? Yeah, so it's November 2nd of 2020 or 2013.
November what?
Oh, 20th, sorry. 28th? 20th.
Wait, what year?
2013.
So it's not me saying it, and because you see it's received and you can see her signature, and also you see something else right here, right?
Ooh, is that a judicial stamp that I see right there?
Well, it's a notary stamp.
Oh, or notary stamp, sure.
But who is a notary? She's a notary for the state of Florida, but
Sure.
she's also a deputy clerk. So this actually was done at the clerk. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. But here we go. Can you Ms. Bonnell, she might be busy, so she probably don't have time to read. So I ask you to unmute yourself, but if not, can you do the favors for me, Macadamia, and read what you see on the screen?
Put me on blast, dang. Yeah, so in the Circuit Court of the 13th Judicial Circuit,
Where?
Circuit Court of the 13th Judicial Circuit in and for Hillsborough County, State of Florida. Affidavit of fact. I, Clee A. Ball, willfully state the following. I am a party in action with the Florida Department of Revenue, Florida Child Support Enforcement Program, case number 03D 006755. Again, against Shergret Doss, I hereby discontinue.
Greg, right?
That's Greg Doss.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I hereby discontinue any and all participation and affiliation with the Florida Department of Revenue and or Florida Child Support Enforcement related to Shergret Doss. I, Clee A. Ball, am discontinuing any participation in these actions with prejudice and without
Hey,
any.
whoa. What does with prejudice mean?
Means you can't bring it up again. Like it's settled. It's a settled matter.
Go ahead.
And without any future demands to Shigret Das relative to the aforementioned action, I have no desire for arrears or any future compensation. Furthermore,
What does that mean? No, so that means whatever was in the past is what?
in the past is moot.
And everything that would have gone in the future, which at the time they would have still been under, they would have been minors at that time, would mean what?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Meaning that nothing from the past of this date and nothing moving into the future, correct?
Yes,
So
yes.
essentially, it's whether the state of Florida is involved at all, which means what? You got nothing. But go ahead.
Furthermore, this affidavit of fact may be filed with the 13th Judicial Circuit in and for Hillsborough County, Florida, without further notice. I make this decision without threat, duress, or coercion.
Her signature. Done. Chagret didn't make that up, right?
It doesn't look like it. She signed it, is notarized, and is filed in the clerk.
And you actually saw when we did the go back here and do this. You're looking at the Dropbox again, right?
Yeah. Or yeah.
And I don't know what people were, what y'all call it, what young people call it, chasing clout or whatever. I don't know what the purpose was for bothering me. And I'm being very respectful because I kind of am still that guy. But just I think for clarity purposes, that would actually coincide with that date right there. What do you see what happened on 11/20/2013?
Affidavit of fact.
Which coincides with what you just read, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't call me sir, I work for a living.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
So now we got that out the way. So I think we're pretty clear with the two documents, which during my discussion and my back and forth with the gentleman, I was like, well, I don't understand why we can't just resolve this with a discussion like gentlemen, so that if there's any confusion by anybody out here, I'm more than willing to answer questions, because I didn't come into this to become famous with child support. I came into here so I knew a lot of guys younger than me could use the information. Ms. Bonnell, you want to say your famous part, how badly I would have wished I had a me 25 years ago when these things started? Because if I'd had me, you all would not know me today. I can promise you that.
Well, we know how grateful you would have been for you. However, what they need to take away from this is the fact there's no cookie cutter forms, filings, or pleadings that can fit everyone's case. Everyone is literally an individual and they have to operate on a case-by-case basis. So I just need everybody to use a little discernment when they see these people online scamming them. At minimum, I think
using
we
the
should all
opinions
do a
expressed do not
search.
necessarily represent those of Chagret Dogs, GD9 attorney pro se consultant.
Man, fuck all that. See, I was trying to be chill. Fuck all
I'm
that.
dead.
What are you talking about, yo? I was trying to be chill. You had to go there. Listen, at the end of the day, they need to use some discernment and they need to operate with discretion. Before y'all get them niggas a dime, y'all need to get a reference point, and a reference point should be their government, or at minimum their case number and the county that they're saying they got the relief in, so you can verify it and look it up. If you don't know what a word is, Google it. There's no harm in using Google and going online and trying to figure out if somebody is capping or not. It's your money that you're working hard for. And I get a lot of you guys are in desperate situations, but it's not right for them to take advantage of your desperation. And y'all need to come together and start y'all a little brotherhood and air these niggas out like pissy sheets, because a lot of them are full of shit.
Yeah, I hope I can still monetize.
Yeah.
But here we go. So here's the word Medicaid. And Ms. Britt, is it the state of Florida's position that I owe $835.49? Yes, that's the state. Can you articulate for what I owe $835.49? Can you all see that too, Macadamia?
Yeah, it's clear.
This is actually, for those who don't know, let me make sure I'm on page 23. We'll go back here. This is what a transcript looks like. And this is why we tell people, bring a court reporter. I highly recommend you find a court reporter in your area. If not, I believe Mrs. Scott has said I sent it out to everybody who was a part of our groups, what states she can do the Zoom hearings for. And if I'm correct, Ms. Bunnell, she can do it in almost every state, right? She gave a list of the states that she can do. She can, if your state, if she can't find a court reporter, and I'm gonna say this also, and what's good, Tandrick, I'll bring you on. One of the things I want to make sure is clear to people, your state, if it's like Florida, if you file a motion to vacate the hearing officer's recommendation, and I'll pull the rule for you, you must attach the transcript. Hence, if you don't have the transcript, your motion to vacate could become moot as an operation of law. That's not legal advice. Look it up. And I'll actually pull it up for you.
Yeah, what rule is that? I know federally that would be Rule 60.
Federal doesn't apply. It's a state case. State.
Oh, we're gonna fight about this. We're gonna fight about this, but go for it.
Not on this one. So
Okay.
anyway, there you go. This is proceedings taken before hearing officer Arabella Campbell via Zoom, and you'll have that. And by the way, for those who don't know, not only is the court reporter beneficial for recording the proceedings, she's also a witness as to what was said and what may have been discussed. And not to mention, these things are official. And I tell everybody, just bring one. I always bring one. And Ms. Vanilla tell you why I learned to do that, because my hearing in front of Judge Gregory Holder, who falsely accused me of perjury, I had one there, but he had a court reporter that annotated everything that went on in the proceeding to include before we got there, right, Ms. Bunnell? He forgot to swear me in, but before I got there, they were discussing the fact that the case that this same gentleman brought up, but he was discussing that the state court case was stayed. So he would have no jurisdiction. The appeals court still had the case. But at any rate, for those who don't know, there you go. So let's go down here to the word Medicaid or Medicare. So she's saying the state provided Medicaid and Medicare. And I said, okay, does the state have any evidence to support their allegation that they gave $835.49? So the only issue is the state provided Medicaid, food stamps, and cash assistance. There's no issue of child support. I think that's pretty clear, right?
Not clear.
Can you see that part?
Yeah, we've talked. You've mentioned it. The biggest thing that you taught me about was subrogation.
Oh, well, the subrogation would go away because this happened in 2024. What happened in 2013?
Well, all right, I'll shut up. Heard.
Focus. I think Ms. Vanille said y'all reading and stuff. So the affidavit would have erased any of the argument for child support. But I'm going to help y'all with a little bit more about the child support argument as well. So anyway, we have our resident guy that I think everybody should use. Tandrick, you're not refereeing tonight, right? You can come on and tell everybody what you are and what you can help guys do.
Hey, fellas. Rick Robinson, also known as Tandrick. My specialty is finance and accounting. I have probably over 25 years of finance and accounting, working for corporate companies, as well as personal business and finance. So as it relates to child support, I can help you all out, help you to better understand your numbers, just because I truly understand the financial calculator. And a lot of times what happens is the courts, they don't necessarily get the information in the calculator correct. And of course, that could have, thousands of dollars of impact to you over time. And I'm an individual that can just help you to understand, what your numbers should be. Are they legit? Are they correct? So that's where I can kind of help you all out at, as well as, if you have a personal business, give you some insights there, investments, different things like that. Just understanding your P&L, your revenue coming in, your expenses going out, just, how
What is P&L for
set up
those who
your
don't
LLC.
know? You and somebody else love those acronyms. What is P&L for those who don't know?
Profit and loss.
There you go.
Y'all love these acronyms. Now we got thousands of people listening now, so cool. So I appreciate that. And if anybody needs him, that has nothing to do with me, we can attach you to him. But I highly recommend you speak to people, not only as it relates to what Mr. Robinson can offer as far as analyzing the numbers, what Mrs. Bunnell can do as far as you getting insurance, and even understanding the issue of insurance, which we found out that can you explain, Ms. Bunnell, about the insurance? If the insurance is prepaid, I know you can get credit for the insurance, but how to make sure that you can get the state out of the insurance aspect with you and the children, or some of the stuff that they're claiming with this Medicaid, because a lot of guys probably have them on their insurance anyway, if you have a job.
Right. So if you have a job, it would be more cost effective to add your child to your insurance policy, because they have to count it on child support. In addition to that, every state, or I don't know if they're going to still have it, but as of today, every state basically has a insurance pool that you can qualify for depending on what you make. So if it would be more cost effective to go through the state directly to insure the child, you are able to do that, and they still have to give you credit for that. It doesn't matter how much you're paying in premium. It just matters that the child has coverage. In addition to that, when you guys are going back saying about the Medicaid numbers, you have to make sure you get an invoice, a detailed invoice, because a lot of times the state has agreed ratings for different services with the providers. So they'll give you a bill, but that ain't what they paid though. They have so many contracts with so many of the providers, and we all know if you have Medicaid, you could only go to certain providers, so more than likely they do have an agreed rate. So the price that they would charge me and you is not the price that they would bill somebody out if they had Medicaid. Even if we had insurance, right? If we had an HMO, a PPO, or if we're using our HSO, and that's health medical organization, basically a private provider organization, or your health savings account, that's what those acronyms are, it would be billed different. So you always want a detailed invoice when they're saying they paid for something. They need to show you.
Absolutely. And even if you're an athlete who happens to be listening here, and I do mean the higher end athletes, which could be beneficial, and I know Rick can help you, and so can Ms. Bunnell. Many of you all are covered through whatever you might have done while you were playing in your professional environment, your sports arena, whatever benefit that you get for covering that the child gets for you being the parent or what have you. Make sure that stuff is all calculated into your support. Just find out what the rule is. I know in Florida, the prepaid is an immediate deduction. Correct, Rick? If it's a prepaid, and maybe Cersei, you could answer that also, Ms. Bunnell. If it's prepaid, however that means, it's an immediate deduction.
Yeah, because it's already spent.
Right. Yep.
Okay. And these are things that, and you want to say your famous line for me, Rick, about the percentage of cases that have been correct that you've seen, that the economics have been correct 100%?
100% of every case that I've reviewed has been incorrect, meaning that there was an error of some sort where a court did not put the numbers in the calculator correctly. And the calculator is calculated. So it's kind of like if you put bad information in, you're going to get bad information out. So you want to understand your numbers going in and ensure that the courts are putting your numbers in correctly, because if they're not, you're going to get bad information. And every case that I've seen has been overinflated, where individuals are paying more than what they should be, including myself.
Cool. So we have some of those peripheral issues that have been addressed as well. So the other thing was, so now we have this part. So now I think we're pretty clear with the 835.49. And by the way, for those who didn't put two and two together, if you were to sit the video of me in how to deal with a corrupt child support hearing officer, part 1, next to the transcript, they're gonna flow in sync because she's taking the recording from the proceeding. So there you all go. Bring the court reporter with you. And by the way, if you have to appeal, the appellate court only can rely on transcript. So always keep these things in mind as we move forward. So now I think we got those two things down. The affidavit is down. The hearing is down. What is 8/21? Oh, this is the hearing before Mrs. Cromrie. And the spoiler alert aspect of things. There was something else I was going to look at. Here we go, people. And I wanted to get, so we got the transcripts, we got this. And finally, we have something that would make a lot of people shudder. In my eyes, would you not agree? I don't know if Rick just dropped off. Mr. Robinson and Ms. Bonnell, do I have the same eyes in 2024 that I had in 2000 and whatever the hell this was? 3?
No, because you know the definitions to most of the words now.
Now, I'm glad I actually have the female voice there. So right there, you see this final judgment of paternity? Notwithstanding the fact that there is an affidavit, can you do a favor for me and read right up to the point where it says finding of facts in between here and here, Mrs. Bonnell?
Oh no, I can't because I'm in the store. I'm moving around.
Okay. I'll meet you. Rick, can you do that for me? Or does anybody else want to read?
Yeah, I'm actually driving, so I can't either.
Oh, hey. I guess we got to go back to resident Macadamia. Macadamia, can you read up to the findings of fact?
You want me to start out final judgment?
In fact, read all the way down to jurisdiction.
I got you. Okay, final judgment of paternity and support. This cause came to be heard on, was that August 9th, 2004, before hearing officer Lila Stilo on the petitioner's petition to determine paternity and support. Appearance, the following persons and counsel were present. The state of Florida Department of Revenue and Assistant Attorney General Wendy R. Doyle, counsel for DOR. Let me go more?
Yeah, but then we'll come back.
Yep, findings of fact. The following findings are made after reviewing the court file and weighing all admissible evidence.
Stop. Who was noticeably missing from the appearances?
It doesn't sound like you were you there?
And neither was.
I don't want to. I don't remember her name. You're the mother. Oh yeah, Clee.
So when you get down here, the magic words are what?
All admissible evidence.
Without witnesses, what evidence would be admissible if only parties present are the attorney?
I don't know. I actually know how that works with regards to attorneys and
Rick,
how they make allegations.
Can you help me out with that, Mr. Robinson? Who's a witness? Can an attorney be a witness? I don't know if Rick can hear. For the record, I want.
I'm not sure.
An attorney can't be a witness. What could they witness? What can they admit? Evidence has to come in through a competent person. Forget that part. Let's do it. Let's do it the right way. So we've all seen all the information, right? So there we go. So let's do this for those who don't know in the third row. What I think the beauty of having so much support from so many people who care. You're going to see what we actually have around here that we contribute quite a bit to having, because I can't afford to be unprepared. So come on down. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, something just went away from me. Give me a second, you all watching me. And again, not that I think I had to tell people 1,000 times. What do you see on your screen, Academia? See Thompson? See Westlaw?
Yeah, Westlaw precision.
What state you think I should be going to? Florida, that's the state I live in, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's see.
And you help somebody out right here too. In case you don't have I think we pay like 1,100 bucks a month for that. Actually, I know we do. Let's see. What was the question? I typically stay away from AI, but what you can do is you see right there, brought it up earlier, 491-1, 15 days, which is new. But you can always just go to that right here. Your state's applicable rules of procedure. And if I go through this pretty quickly, you guys bear with me because I know Florida so well, which I would recommend everybody take the time to learn the rules in your state. Otherwise, applying issue, application, and conclusion would not matter. There you go, people. There's A. Should you seek a review of the order upon the recommendation of the Child Support Enforcement Hearing Officer, you must file a motion to vacate. Remember our magic words, shall and must. File a motion to vacate within 15 days from the date of the entry of the order in accordance with Florida Family Law Rule Procedure 12.491F. We'll go down to that. You will be required to provide the court with a record sufficient to support your position or your motion will be denied. Is that clear to everyone out there? Is there anybody who has a question about that? I don't know if you raise your hand or how that works. You good with that, Ant-Man?
So the record, I understand what you're saying about the transcript being, an obvious evidence of the record, but that could also include the things that were filed into your court
Record
case.
ordinarily includes a written transcript of all relevant proceedings, and the person seeking review must have the transcript prepared for the court's review.
Yeah, okay. I see the must. I see the must. All right.
Okay, there we go.
That is interesting that they have
the
that for
thing is,
Florida.
I would tell people who are attempting to kind of get, and there, every case has nuance, and I think Ms. Bunnell said that earlier. Everybody's case is going to have its own individual set of facts and its own nuance. The point is, you can argue theory. I typically want to follow the rule. It just goes straight there. Now, where I've had difficulties, which is why I guess, letters from the bar, is because I hold people accountable. I filed, I don't know, more than 10 appeals. I think you were talking about putting together a record. I don't know if you're talking about a record like for appeal or how do I put together my exhibit list, that kind of stuff. But whatever it is that you wanted me to show you how to do, I can just let you look at mine, which I have no problem. Everything I do is actually in the record.
Well, isn't in Florida, don't so you have to do your notice of appeal, and doesn't the court that you're trying to appeal their decision, don't they have to send the whole record up to the appellate courts, or is it on you as a litigant?
Talking about the appeals process, or like see my notice of inclusion of transcripts, how I put it inside the record?
And this is you filed this into the Court of Appeals?
No, I filed this into the circuit court. You see that?
Okay, notice.
I didn't have to appeal this, but I can show you what a notice of appeal looks like.
Oh, I know what it looks like, but
Okay, yeah.
so but so is there not a duty on the clerk to send up the whole record, whatever the record is that has been filed into the case?
Once your appeal gets an appeal date, yeah. And you see, like,
okay, gotcha.
And all I'm showing you is, and it's all public record because anybody who was looking would have been able to find all this in my record, in the court record. Well, I guess they were trying to do some gotcha. I don't know what the hell that was about, but there you go. See, I have my notes of supplemental authority. I put down the facts, make it pretty clear. My exhibit list look this way, and then there's something I attached to it. I think it was like 80 some odd pages, and this is what's in there. Yeah, there you go. Supplemental case law to help support where I am. So anybody who wants it, just go to inside the court record and get it. And I could just tell you what I would think I would do if it were me. I don't give you advice, but if it were me, I would take a particular position. And for those who don't know, that's what a motion to, I don't know what that is.
Wait, Greg, can I ask you to show me something real quick? I saw a glimpse of it, but can you pull up that letter you got from the Florida bar? I kind of want to see that.
The letter or the response?
Oh, both. I think you were talking about it on one of the videos I saw, but I want to see kind of both. That's wild. That if that's not proof that Greg is the real deal, and some of these package boys are trash. Or sorry. Let me see this.
I say nothing disparaging about people who are not here to defend themselves. However, the link to this letter and my response is on the website, on my YouTube channel. So there you go. I responded timely too.
November 25th, 2025. This is crazy. Doing something right.
There's an argument to that.
And where is this your response? Can I see your response?
It might be a little history lesson that may be offensive to some, but I don't care.
All right, let's see. You sent it right back the same day?
No, I sent it back on the 25th.
Okay.
Finally. And anybody who sees this video, I know the members get to see it, but anybody who wants it, once we make it available to the members, you can have it. But again, it's on the web. It's on my YouTube channel. There's a link for it on one of the videos. In fact, on the video I'm talking about it, there's a link to it. You hit it, and you're gonna get both of them.
Oh, the anti-literacy laws. Yeah, I love that. This is so spicy.
There was a time pre-Civil War that it was against the law to teach enslaved people how to read in certain portions of the country. And so and we all know that Frederick Douglass did say knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave, and there's an additional bit of context to the individuals who were so inquisitive about me. My parents were stationed in Biloxi, Mississippi during my foundational educational years, which is 4th through 9th. And I attended Beauvoir Elementary School, named for the plantation home of Jefferson Davis. It was right there on what would have been the same plantation as ground. So I've seen slave quarters, and we all know that y'all better know that Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederacy. Don't tell me you didn't learn that shit in school. But anyway, So anybody who wants it, you can have it. And I've experienced a few things in my official response. And then after my response, I went back to talk about my clear and conspicuous disclaimers. Everybody who knows when they talk to me, I always say I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice. And you know my question. If you have a question for me, it has to be phrased a certain way for me to answer the question. And we all know, and I say, you can ask what would Greg do, but I don't give advice. When it comes to creating whatever we create, we do, you all do it, we type it, we do it together, and I say, okay. But ultimately, it's up to the individual. And the reason why I work so diligently to help people read is, and I'll give you some background. It was said that my brother would be a special education student. My parents did not agree. He's now Dr. Doss. I'm the least formally educated person in my family by far. Okay. So, but here we go. The disclaimers are there. The YouTube channel disclaimer, the nature of my services, the self-represented journey. And then I just pulled them into shit. It's amazing that you clowns have time to ask me this shit, but nobody wanted to look into why Judge Gregory Holder and Michael Victor, their perjury trap for me failed. But y'all, when I asked for that, you didn't want to look into that, which is interesting. The 7,000 emails that you failed to give me during discovery, which is wild. And I don't know if Ms. Donnell is still available for us, but she calls one of her former colleagues for the state of Florida, Monologue Mike, told us on several occasions that they'd given me everything. But we found out later on during my federal case, which this gentleman brought up, which the facts of the case isn't why I'm not getting further. It's the corruption of the 13th Judicial Circuit, and I'll say it. It's why I had 5 judges disqualified. Well, 4 judges disqualified. The 5 judges who were touring together, 3 of which I sat before during my criminal proceedings. I was looking at 5 years in prison. I self-represented and won my case. And you can actually get that audio on the site as well. And through the Dropbox. So just join and become a member. The litigation for case 2018 CA 3553, which frustrated Miss, she's an insurance person, where Dr. John Shim, who was a treating physician at the James A. Haley VA Hospital, who also worked for State Farm Insurance as an expert witness, saw me for a compulsory medical examination for State Farm and never divulged to me that he's also a VA doctor.
Excuse me, I have to interrupt you. Wait a minute. John Shim does not work for the VA. Well, he works for the VA. He's a contractor. He's an approved provider for the VA, and he is a approved vendor for Austin Road and Baskerville. He is not a State Farm employee, so let's clear that up.
Oh yeah, he's not. Okay, yeah, he was the expert witness for State Farm.
Okay.
So Austin Road Baskerville, thank you, because she's been there. Austin Road Baskerville is the representing firm for State Farm. I sued Chandra and Linda Tucker, who were the insured of State Farm. So, because State Farm accepted Mrs. Tucker's liability up to the limits of her coverage, they were responsible for her defense. And I did not know that defense was unlimited until Mrs. Donnell told me that. I thought there was a cap on defense. So anyway, defense is unlimited. And Dr. Shim, whenever the compulsory medical examination, that's just when the insurance company wants to look at you and see if you're really messed up. They take you and they send you to their doctor. Well, they sent me to the doctor. It was Dr. Shim. I had no idea who he was. 2 months later, while at the VA, he came in and treated me. And I'm like, wow, this guy looks familiar. He looks familiar because he saw me. And by the way, for those who don't know and don't believe it, Title 18 United States Code is a federal crime for conflicts of interest. Now, I'll take my word for it. And just for the sake of edification, personal edification at that, we'll pull it over here for the people who don't know how to do these things. We do it that way. And we'll go 18. Oh, you see how it pops up? It pops up because I've been here before. And there you go. Acts affecting personal financial interest. And you can do it this way, and everybody can do that as well.
Is there civil relief inside of that title? Or is it only
No.
criminal?
You mean because no, the fact that it's a crime, and you mean that an attorney would have induced another person to commit a crime? That one?
No, so criminal codes are typically the attorney general or some state prosecutor
Federal,
needs to.
federal in this case. Right.
Okay, yeah, federal prosecutor would have to come
Yeah,
after.
there's nothing civil. It's just part of the fact pattern as to what happened when I filed the lawsuit for fraud in the inducement.
Gotcha.
I'm just pointing out that they were involved in criminal activity in the case. So within that, so we got that down there, and then how Judge Emily Ann Peacock forced me to sign a mediation, forced me to sign a release, although I agreed to a stipulation of the parties, and we all know that under Florida law, a stipulation of the parties is not the same thing as a mediation settlement agreement. And I'll just show you all this stuff as well, because just for posterity. And what's even crazier is that these attorneys went into the okay, here we go. Here's my appendix to my writ of certiorari. Yeah, writ of prohibition. Okay, this is my writ of prohibition to the Second District Court of Appeals. And I'm actually doing this for a couple of reasons. One, to show you when people want to call out somebody, you should probably do your freaking homework. You see that, macadamia, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Pretty nice, huh?
It's clean. It's clean.
Yeah, you can tell I know they did it. Okay. This is the stipulation of the parties. The defendants, who would be these people, shall pay me $30,000 in full and final. It involves these people, the entities. Now, they wanted to add all these people here, and I'm like, okay, but I didn't sue them, but okay, we don't care. Their State Farm is going to satisfy the lien. But right here is where it's interesting. The plaintiffs shall voluntarily dismiss this litigation with prejudice. This litigation would be only this case here. Not anything in the future. Now, what was interesting is conspicuously missing are the names of Chandra and Linda Tucker. What this criminally acting attorney did was, and by the way, this is Judge Peacock ordering me to sign the stipulation of the parties. The court orders that pursuant to the settlement agreement. Wait a minute, I signed the stipulation of the party. I never signed the settlement agreement. And under Florida law, those are two different documents. They're not the same. So, and then you hear her say that, Mr. Doss, I'm ordering you. First of all, she tells me I'm not going to argue with Mr. Rowe during her hearing. Kind of interesting, a judge would feel that way, that I'm not going to argue, which I'm there to do, is argue. And then she orders me to sign the release. Now, for just as from a superficial cursory view, you can tell the release contains more language than the stipulation, which means it's not the same thing. And she forced me to sign it, and you see I signed it clearly under duress. So, just for those who didn't know, and then there's a hearing. There's so many more, but I don't want to get into that thicket right now. I just wanted to make sure I let everybody know that this is where we were. So now, that's secondary. And I don't know what I do with the damn letter. Okay, bar complaint, response. So that you can see the response. And this is a little bit more than I anticipated on doing, because I want to watch Ohio State. So now, I'm telling the bar, while you all are bothering me, why didn't you look into all of this behavior, which I've already informed you of? But you told me you didn't want to look into it. Subsequent lawsuits. I chronicle my once active lawsuits alleging fraud and inducement, torture, interference with a business relationship, and intentional infliction of emotional distress against Austin Basketball, Professional Association, Dr. Shem, and State Farm. These cases highlight the difficulties I face as an honorably discharged disabled Army veteran seeking redress for alleged wrongs committed by well-founded corporate entities, local attorneys, judges, and a local expert witness. I share my pleadings, the motions to dismiss filed against me, and the court's rulings to illustrate the procedural hurdles pro se litigants face and the multiple rules your fellow attorneys and bar members have violated. And yes, Chagret does write these things. I write because I went to school and they taught us how. The weaponizing of the child support, so that's a throw out for everybody else. Family law retaliation. My educational services also cover the rampant corruption in the family law division, specifically regarding the Department of Revenue and child support enforcement. I share my personal nightmares to warn others of how the system ignores its own laws. Yeah, I kind of make it a little bit special, and I give the case numbers right here, and we just kind of chronicle it. The theft of real property. Finally, I like to share with my audiences the reality of my experiences, like pre-14th Amendment protections for Black people, descendants of Africa, regarding the lack of protection for my property rights in Hillsborough County. I discuss how so many judges turn a blind eye to the theft of my property without a day in court. And I detail how I experienced a lack of due process and HOA foreclosures and property disputes, and how even a veteran can lose his home through judicial inaction and manipulation by unknown but diabolical entities. Just look at the chain of titles for 517 Tuscany Street in Brandon, 2534 Clareside Drive in Valrico, 12725 Bramfield Drive in Riverview, and 4336 Spinnaker Cove in Tampa. If you think I'm lying, but of course, you know I'm telling the truth, don't you? I did tell her ahead that I was going to do some code shifting in here. I did not use any profanity, which I really wanted to, but the constitutional basis for educational activities, and as you see outside the NAACP versus Button, the Brotherhood of Railroad Trainmen versus Virginia X-Relation, Virginia State Bar, and it's a First Amendment protection to help you all by sharing my information with you. I did want to say a couple of other words to these people, but I didn't do it. I refrained. Context of systemic misconduct, why this inquiry is suspect. It's impossible to view this inquiry from the Florida bar in a vacuum. And as Macadamia said, it's pretty interesting. Every guru should have these kind of letters. Every guru should be responsible for doing this if they're doing what they claim they do. Now, I'm not going to say what other people on here would say about these people. I don't know that they're necessarily offering them up as fodder for the system. I'm not going to say that, because I don't have any proof of that. But it follows my repeated formal attempts to report serious documented misconduct by licensed attorneys and judges to both the Florida Bar and the Judicial Qualifications Commission, which interestingly enough told me they would not investigate any of my allegations. So anybody watching this, please take this to your local congresspeople, like I try to do, and have them say, hey, look, why are we having these kind of things going in Florida? If you happen to be in Florida, it'd be even better. But hey, why does Florida allow such misconduct from attorneys, judges, and other state officials? And because you've dropped this opportunity into my lap, I'm going to detail the misconduct I have reported, which the bar has seemingly ignored while choosing instead to investigate me. The contrast between the bar's inaction regarding its own members and its aggressive scrutiny of a pro se litigant is odd and frankly quite disturbing and indicative of the type of shady public official behavior on display nationwide. And I don't have to go there. Just look at 1600 Pennsylvania and then go downward. I mean, just think about it. The bar is investigating my YouTube channel, yet it refuses to investigate that on numerous occasions. I've submitted complaints to the Florida Bar and the Judicial Qualifications Commission, and neither governing body investigated the alleged misconduct despite the proof before it. Come on, people. And the misconduct, the stipulation fraud, and there you go. Again, anybody who wants this, please just reach out. The void license suspensions, the retaliation of the 13th Circuit, family law and property rights, misrepresentation of posture, Judge Huey, which set Mr. Tondrick off. Judge Huey lied, and if you go to that video, we have that one as well, where you can see Judge Huey trying to tell me that I signed a stipulation of the parties. I mean, a mediation settlement agreement. I said I signed a stipulation. He said I signed a mediation settlement agreement. And I said, look, I didn't say MF, but I wanted to. Just show it to me and I'll shut up. There is no mediation settlement agreement. It does not exist. He's a liar. Judge Emily Ann Peacock both overstepped their bounds. And if anybody out there is listening, whether you're a judge, attorney, or anybody else is a concerned citizen, ACLU member, what are them people called? The ones who help people who've been improperly incarcerated, any of those groups, there you go. So there you go, people. Any questions whatsoever, The floor is open for about 10 or 15 minutes. Oh, by the way, the malicious prosecution. But before we go on to answer questions, hit your hand, and I'll see you raise your hand. I'll bring you up. When he said about the federal case, this individual, this case is currently open in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. I'm appealing it myself. No attorneys would help me. Correct everybody who knows me, Ms. Bunnell, Mike, Tondrick, Daly. No attorneys would help me. And what I was told by the local bar is they're not going to help me because of the nature of the people I'm going after. It had nothing to do with me being right or wrong. And by the way, for the malicious prosecution, all I needed to do was to avoid conviction. They started a case against me, pursued the action. The action ended in my favor, and they had no probable cause. It was dismissed, oddly enough, by a judge who happened to have been the former chief judge who was affiliated with 4 of the judges who are witnesses in my case. So, for those who did not know, hopefully I've cleared all of this up, and hopefully everybody is pretty satisfied with what they've seen. Go ahead,
Wait,
Mac.
could we do a live experiment? So you've called a few of these people out, and you've submitted complaints with the Florida bar. Could you go to the Bar Association's website and see if I know in Washington State you can look up attorneys, and they don't show disciplinary records.
Oh, they do it here. They'll do that. They'll show it. They'll show if they've been disciplined.
Okay.
If they've been disciplined. So, and by the way, for those who didn't believe this also, this is something that blew my mind, and I don't even use my LinkedIn. So, I know all the gurus out there, especially those who call me out, get these kind of things. When you check your LinkedIn, you'll see that the top appellate attorney is looking at your page. Tony Bernstein is the senior assistant attorney general at the Office of the Attorney General. She's actually the person who does the appeals for child support. I know because she stood next to me during my appeal. Kind of interesting that she's looking at my LinkedIn page. But
Maybe
I know
she's
all the
offering you a job.
well, she did it interestingly on her. she did it during her. This is the state of Florida's page because she did it from here. She didn't do it from her personal page. But everybody has this. I know that I don't know their names, so I don't want you to say them on my page.
No, you lying.
I'm not going to say their names. All the so-called gurus, I'm not going to say their name.
They're not good.
One in particular, if you are good at what you do, everybody has been attacked by some judge or some jurisdiction, even if it's in question, because you are doing something right.
Well,
the measurement of impact is not by the measurement of a person is not by their numbers, but by their impact.
so
I'm hoping that my impact is there.
So
Yes,
can I let me chime in, because I know there was that one gentleman. I don't know who sent it to me, if it was you or someone else, the one who did the $500 publicity stunt. And this is what you guys have to be mindful of, because there was one gentleman in particular that had a filing, even though it was full of rigmarole and fuckery, that he filed
trying to monetize
in New York, whatever. Sorry, my bad. Stating that he filed a lawsuit against the state. However, if you read it, it is laughable. But he's online like, yeah, I'm finally doing it. And when you go to the comment sections, there's so many gullible Georges who is just eating it up. And like, that's what we need. Listen, collectively, everyone is always stronger together collectively, right? But you'll need right information. You'll have to be willing to do the work. It is no easy fix. These people don't pay $50,000, $60,000 for a law degree. They're not gonna let you come in there and play in their face like that. So thinking that you can buy a one-size-fit-all packet from someone is unrealistic. And the lengths that these people would go to scam you guys is very disheartening, at least for me. And that's why I jump in the comments head first, and I'm going the whole hero, the whole hoagie in the comments. and I'm looking people cases up. Greg has sat there and watched me unredact somebody's document real time because I'm going to go find out what's going on because I know they're lying. And y'all need to operate like y'all know these guys out there is full of BS. They're doing it to scam you guys, and it's not cool. And those of you who've been victim, y'all need to find a safe space. I would hope that this will be a safe space that you guys can be transparent and authentic and tell someone else about the fraud you suffered to prevent them from suffering the same fraud you suffered. Each one teach one. Y'all should be helping each other. Y'all need to make this a community since it's going to be a school thing. And it's valuable if all of y'all are authentic and y'all are aware of the scams and the extent these bozos will go to. Okay, I'm done. Put my soapbox down.
And we can get you Mrs. Bonnell. She has, I think, a LinkedIn, but she can get you her contact number. She can put it in the chat, or I can stick it in there. She allows that one. But anybody who needs the information, you know, I used to tell people I didn't come to do this looking for numbers. I don't need a lot of numbers. What I need for younger people to be, because I am 57 years old. I'm not saying I'm old or what have you. I'm just saying that my battle for this is for child support particularly is behind me. There's some things that may be in front of me that I could deal with, but I don't have the issues that many of you all have, but I do have sons. And I may have sons older than some of the people that may watch this video. But what I would like to see from the community, to piggyback on what Mrs. Bonnell said, is I'm looking for pillars, because you know, massive buildings only need a few pillars to hold it up. But you have to be strong. You don't want to have your foundation sit on sand because it'll slide away. And I would never see the day that I think making a couple of dollars is more important than the people that I hope that I can help inspire to be better than me. Somebody out there is way better than me at this, and they may be on their way to law school, or they may be incapable of paying the 60 or 70,000 a year for law school. But the each one teach one concept I fully believe in, and anything that I have ever done that can be beneficial to anybody else, you're more than willing to have. Hell, 97% of it is going to be public record anyway, because I've already filed it some damn where. In fact, that bar investigation is public record. That's why I show it to you all. They said, well, to let you know this is all public record. Well, yes, your retaliation is public record. I have no delusions of living forever. And greater men than me have been hunted for being an inspiration. If I can be that inspiration, then, you know, I'll know what my life's purpose is. I'm not looking to be a martyr. I'm just not anybody's mark. That being said, as I get ready to watch the next set of games, I hope that I've cleared up any questions about the case that was in question. And as you saw, I went back to the beginning. But the benefit was that I did get an amicable resolution through the mother, which is what we always strive to try to get done. You to have an amicable and peaceful resolution of where the matter is. That being said, people, sometimes it's not about right or wrong. More importantly, it's about clarity. You never reach a resolution if you're not willing to engage in honest dialogue, even if that dialogue is with yourself. Take time to hug the person you love and love the person you hug. On behalf of GD9 Attorney Pro Se Consultants, I am Greg Doss. I am Chagret.